As a butler, you find yourself in a lot of different places and a lot of different situations. And that's why I always carry this. This is my everyday carry tin. Yes, as you can see, it's not in an Altoids or a curiously strong mince tin like most people's. Mine is in a caviar tin. Couple of reasons for that. One is it's fractionally bigger, so I think it actually works better. And I'm genuinely not just trying to be pretentious. I do have hundreds of these sitting around, and I don't usually eat mince, so I don't have any of those. I also like the fact it's very closed and very strong until you want it to open, and all you have to do is just put any coin in there and just pop it open, and there's no way that's going to happen by accident. The stuff in here is pretty well packed in. So the first thing you see on top is, of course, the all-important piece of paper. This is just a folded up blank sheet of A4 paper for taking notes, making drawings, whatever you need to do. So one clever bit of storage that I just want to show you is here. What I've done is just under the lid, I've stuck layers of duct tape, getting smaller and smaller to make it easier to take off. And then all these bits of duct tape, because it doesn't stick to itself, can just be pulled off and used as required, which is obviously much easier and smaller than carrying an entire roll of duct tape. Now, what this is not is a first aid kit, and it is by no means designed to replace a first aid kit, but I have a plaster, I have an alcohol pad, and another plaster. It's pretty useful if you have a little cut. These are all crucial things that a butler really needs. Now, the first one, and this is so essential, I've been carrying one of these for years and they are absolutely brilliant. And that's the pocket-sized Swiss Army knife with a cutting blade, a nail file, and a pair of scissors. They're absolutely brilliant. They also have a very useful set of tweezers and a toothpick, which I personally would not use for picking teeth, but it does have other uses if you need to get something out of somewhere. Right, so next little useful things are these cable ties. Now, I've actually got 3 in here, 3 different sizes. The different colours represent different sizes, which makes it much easier to find the one you want if they're different colours. So we've got the yellow one's the big one, green in the middle, and blue is the tiny one. There are 1,000,001 uses for a zip tie, a cable tie, and I've probably used them for at least 1,000 of those. Next, you'll see right on top is good old-fashioned super glue. Essential when you're out and about, and that's a torch. These little flat torches, you can buy them all over the place. Now, they're not the sort that you can change the battery. They are disposable. But I think for this purpose, that's actually better, because the standby time on these is literally years. I mean, I bought several of these. I've had them for years. I don't often use them, so the batteries don't often go down, but they always seem to be ready and workable. I've also got them quite wet and they've continued to work. I don't think they're actually registered as being waterproof. I wouldn't try and use them underwater, but they do seem to have a pretty good water resistance. I'll try and put as many product codes in the and links in the description as I can. Right, so shoelaces. These are for like a standard gentleman's brogues, which is what I wear for work, but also what most of my guests will be wearing. Very useful to have a set of shoelaces. A cotton bud, in case you need to clean something or apply glue to something. A tape measure. Now, when you're laying a table or when you're trying to get things in the right place, flowers or whatever, a tape measure is so good to have. A butler should always have a tape measure on them at all times. Yes, that's right. The good old-fashioned lighter. People don't smoke so much anymore, but you might need to light the fire. You might need to light a candle. You need a lighter. Now, what use would that little bit of paper be if you didn't have a little pencil to go with it? Next thing we have is a flash drive. It's quite often that clients ask me to move files for them, maybe to a different printer, maybe to a different computer, something like that. So a little pocket flash drive, thumb drive, it's inexpensive, it doesn't take up a lot of space, and when you need one, you need one. How often do you find that you get a rip or a lost button or something like that in your clothing? Well, I love these pre-threaded cotton and needles. It saves you so much time because, quite frankly, when you need to do some sewing, it's always an emergency. You're usually got a guest stood in front of you with a gaping seam, and if you can just whip this out of your pocket, sew it up super quick, you will be the hero, especially when you've got a good selection of different threads like this. You need this in your life. The best kind of sewing kit you really can get for a butler on the move. Next thing, I need to be a bit careful with this, as you should as well, but this is a razor blade. Now, if you need to cut something, if you need to do some very fine, detailed cutting that the knife on your Swiss Army knife is just not quite sharp enough for, then a razor blade is perfect. Obviously, be super careful with them because they are literally as sharp as anything you can get. Also very useful if a guest needs a razor blade for his razor, obviously, you know, what it's actually designed for. Now, we're legally in the UK not allowed to prescribe any medication to anyone. So I keep a couple of paracetamol in here, but they are purely for me. If I get a headache, I won't give them to anyone else. A pair of cufflinks with a beautiful Her Majesty on them. It's quite often that someone will come to dinner with a change of clothes and forget to bring cufflinks. Now, we don't want them with their cuffs hanging down over their hands like Laurence Llewelyn-Bowen, because to be frank, it wasn't a good look on him and it's not going to be a good look on anyone else. So what we have are these fabulous cufflinks for emergencies. They don't need to be gold, they don't need to be silver. To be honest, they'd probably be better if they were just something very plain. But because I'm me, I've got these ones with the Queen on them. And the thing you'll probably use the most, safety pins. A selection of sizes, especially good for ladies' clothing, because if they've got a gaping neckline or something that slides off their shoulder or shows their bra or something like that, they're always after a safety pin just to hold it down. And if you've got one available, again, you're going to be the hero of the day. So I really hope you've enjoyed my everyday carry tin. Please let me know if you feel there's something else that should be in there, something that you would always have in yours and I haven't got. Also, do remember that, of course, this is in addition to the other things that I always carry. You know, obviously, I would always have my bottle opener. I would always have a larger knife. I would always have other useful objects about my person, like a notepad and a pen. This is just the extras for when you really need them. See you soon. Bye-bye.